Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for die-hard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, and welcome to the new viewers and the returning die-hard subs to the channel. We do weekly interviews here and provide analysis on the latest Bengals breaking news. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you want to know how to subscribe, there's a button below this video. And we also provide a link in the video description. So if you're looking for that, it should be there. New Stripe City is proud to announce that our channel has partnered with Fanatics, an NFL licensed merchandiser for NFL.com and Bengals.com as well. Through Fanatics, you can buy men's and women's and kids Bengals apparel and jerseys, and also help grow our channel through using the links in our video description. When you do that, it truly helps grow the channel, and we did this because it allows Bengals fans to not only enjoy our content, but also get top-tier authentic Bengals merchandise. So if you're looking to get a new Burrow or T. Higgins jersey or even a fresh hoodie or a hat, click on the link in our description. And when you do that, it helps support the channel. Hey, what's going on, Bengals fans? It's your boy Ace. Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, and today I have a special guest with me. Glad to have him on. He represents the Jacksonville Jaguars, UCF Jaguar. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Duval, we got a Jags guy in the house. Hey, I'm pumped for this weekend, man. Can't wait to get into this game, man.
Definitely. And, you know, you guys know that are following me that I live in Florida, have a lot of friends from Jacksonville. I actually do follow the Jags a little bit. Like, if there was ever a Florida team for me to follow, I rock with the Jags. I mean, they really remind me essentially of the Cincinnati Bengals, kind of overlooked and stuff like that, but a pretty solid team. So the first thing that I always ask someone, especially when I bring on YouTubers, is how did you get into YouTube?
I got into YouTube because, I went to school down here at UCF, and after I graduated, I had a lot of free time on my hands, and I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but really with all the time that I had, I was like, okay, now's a great time to start it. So I started up in January of 2017, and ironically enough, it was a year that the Jaguars made their AFC Championship game run. It was an amazing year, and it's been an amazing time. I mean, if anyone's ever wants to start a YouTube channel, just do it. It changed my life, and it's definitely one of the greatest things I've ever done.
Definitely, for sure. So let's get into it. Joe Sherbert and Tyler Eifert. These are two names in the Bengals community that were kind of trending. Like, we wanted Joe Sherbert so bad. Like, when we didn't get him and he signed with the Jags, like, our fans lost it, because at that point we thought we weren't going to spend any money in free agency. And then when Tyler Eifert left us, we were heartbroken. Like, when he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we wished him luck, but it kind of hurt. And obviously we kind of need him now. But can you tell me what those two guys have been like for Jacksonville from your perspective?
Well, Joe Schobert, the great thing about him is we really knocked out two birds with one stone with that one. And what I mean by that is we solidified the middle linebacker spot, and then the middle linebacker spot was actually the position that Myles Jack was playing at the last couple of years, and he was just really struggling at that spot. And with bringing in a guy like Joe Schobert, he allowed Myles Jack to move to the weak side linebacker spot, where he's been all over the field, man. He's been getting like over 10 tackles a game, and he reminds you of the Myles Jack that was drafted out of UCLA back then, when he was like a running back linebacker hybrid. So it's been really good. Joe Sherbert's been an awesome addition for us, and Tyler Eifert's been really good as well. I mean, the Jaguars last year were horrible in the red zone, one of the worst red zone teams, and Eifert's already been able to come in here and make an impact in the red zone. He's already got a touchdown grab. So Tyler Eifert's been good also from a leadership standpoint, and he knows Jay Gruden's offense. So he's been able to almost be a coach in that aspect. So it's been good. Those have been a couple of good additions, and there were some jokes running around after the week one victory. Tyler Eifert said, wow, I already have half of my victories that I had in 2019 as the Jags went 1-0. So it's been good. He definitely seems like a Florida boy. He loves fishing. He loves the Jacksonville area. So those two guys, two guys from the AFC North, they've been huge helps to the Jaguars this year.
Yeah, definitely. Tyler Eifert is hilarious, bro. You've already seen that already. So that brings me to the exodus of players. You talked about 2017, right? And I thought that the Jaguars were really like a step away or a quarterback away from the Super Bowl, right? And then there's just this mass exodus of players, and everyone's just confused, like, what's going on? Obviously, they ended up getting rid of your prior president there, some front office changes. coaching with Doug Marrone, he's still there. Like, how did you take that as like a fan? Like when all of that stuff was happening, Jalen Ramsey gets traded, Leonard Fournette gets traded. What were you thinking at that point?
I mean, it sucks, man. I remember in August, the Jaguars tweeted out, "Oh, rewatch the Jaguars versus Steelers 2017 divisional game." And even though it was 3 years ago, it's so painful to watch because none of these guys are on a team anymore. The only guys left from the defense are Miles Jack and a rotational defensive tackle by the name of Avery Jones. And it's just crazy the way the team really turned over. I mean, they turned over for really three reasons. Tom Coughlin was not great at being the president. He made the culture just horrible over there. And also Blake Bortles just was not the answer at quarterback. And when the roster broke down a little bit, he wasn't really able to elevate the team at all. It kind of sunk with him. And just having bad personalities on a team. I mean, there was a lot of, it came out later on, AJ Boye kind of said that pretty much everyone just kind of cared about themselves. You had guys like Jalen Ramsey, who's obviously all about himself. And then, guys were caring about individual stats. Like, Dante Fowler Jr. was kind of like that. So that's one thing that the Jaguars really this year, when they had 12 draft picks, and one big thing that they wanted was to bring in the right personalities in here to be able to fit the mold of the team and what they want going forward. So it sucked kind of seeing this all go down, and we'll see what we kind of have. I don't know how far away we are from being a good team again, because there's still questions on Gardner Minshew. I mean, Gardner Minshew's done some really good things, but I've kind of brought up the example that we want a Patrick Mahomes. It's kind of like the Bengals, man. The Bengals had Andy Dalton. He was a good quarterback, but he wasn't Joe Burrow. He wasn't next level. And as long as if you don't have an elite quarterback, you're always going to be around that mediocrity standpoint, where like the Bengals, like when they had a really good roster and when play call was good, Andy Dalton was able to lead them into the playoffs. But Andy Dalton wasn't able to elevate in the playoffs. And then when the roster broke down, Andy Dalton, the team went down with him. So the Jaguars, we have 13 more games to kind of analyze Gardner Minshew to see if he is the franchise quarterback. But other than that, man, we had to go through and build the roster, build it back up, and figure out how to use the salary cap and all of that stuff better.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of similarities between the Bengals and Jags. Like you said, with Andy Dalton, it was spot on. So from a fan perspective, like for us last season, I do a podcast with my man Zim Hude. It's called the Orange is the New Black podcast. If you guys are listening, please subscribe to the Cincy Jungle podcast there. But after about week 3, we were like, all right, bro, like we're ready to just get the best quarterback ever. Like you said, we're ready to try to go and get a Pat Mahomes. How do you feel about tanking? Because some fans don't like it. Other fans feel like you got to do whatever you got to do to secure that number 1 pick. What are your thoughts on tanking?
I mean, it's not fun. I mean, I would love to sit here right now and say, hey, the Jaguars, press this button and they'll lose the rest of the games. I would almost do it. But man, when you sit there on Sundays and watch, it's just absolutely painful. But I don't know if the Jaguars aren't bad enough to be the number 1 overall pick. I mean, they have a good offense, when things are rolling. Gardner Minshew can help win. Jay Gruden is doing a really good job of play calling. We have some good weapons. Obviously, our undrafted rookie running back with James Robinson is doing really good. We've got some good weapons in DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault, and Tyler Eifert's helped out at that spot and at the tight end spot. And also the offensive line has been doing good. The Achilles heel has been a defense. The defense is what's only going to allow us to win 4 or 5 games this year. But when you look around, man, the Jets and Giants are heads and shoulders the worst teams in the NFL. They've showed no signs of anything so far. So, I would love to sit here and say, give me the number 1 overall pick, and in exchange for losing all the rest of these games. But unfortunately, we can't do that. And unfortunately, I'll be sitting here watching every Jag game every Sunday, rooting my butt off for us to win, and just sitting there in pain, as I know a lot of Bengals fans know the feeling.
Oh, definitely. We went through that last season, and hopefully we don't have to go through that this season. But if you had a choice, right, and I think your front office may be trying to get rid of these players to secure the number 1 pick. I think Gardner Minshew is too good for that, especially with him fighting for his job. And like you said, you guys have players to be a lot better than the Jets and the Giants as well. So obviously, I think that you guys are going to not finish number 1, in my opinion. But if you had a choice between Johnny Lawrence and Justin Fields, Which one are you taking?
Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields?
Trevor Lawrence. I said Johnny Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence by far, man. I mean, he is the biggest can't miss prospect I have ever seen in my life. I mean, this guy. I mean, you just look at him at Clemson, man. I mean, just turn on the tape. This guy is just incredible. He makes all the throws. He stands in the pocket. He can even run the ball. I mean, just the velocity that he has under the ball, the accuracy that he has. He's the prototypical size for a quarterback. I mean, this guy, this guy's going to be the guy, man.
Definitely. So it looks like Trevor Lawrence is definitely that guy. So you kind of talked about just like the keys to victory when me and you talked. What do you think the Jags' keys to victory are against the Bengals? What do they have to do to get out of this game with a win?
Well, the Jaguars are starting really slow. Every game, these last 3 games, the Jaguars have deferred, and the team has taken the ball all the way down and scored a touchdown. So there's one guaranteed in this game, and that is that the Jags are going to get the ball first, because if we win a coin toss, we're going to receive, and if the Bengals win, they're probably going to defer. So we have to start fast, man. Finally get a lead. The Jaguars have not been playing with a lead very often this year, so that's really what we need to do. The Jaguars need to figure out a way to get a pass rush in there. I mean, the last 3 quarterbacks we played against, Phillip Rivers, we got lucky. He threw a couple really bad interceptions, but Tannehill and Fitzpatrick just tore us apart. And it doesn't take an elite quarterback to do what they're doing against the Jaguars, because they have all the time in the world. And they have all the time in the world against a secondary that isn't really very good right now. So the Jaguars, they're going to have to win a shootout. Honestly, they're going to have to score a lot of points. I see Joe Burrow doing really good against this Jaguar defense, unfortunately. And I really think it's going to ultimately be a shootout. It's just the Jaguars have to kind of control the time of possession. They have to scheme some ways to get some blitzes in here, shake some things up, try to get some kind of pressure on Joe Burrow. And I know you say it's kind of a favorable matchup with the offensive line that the Bengals are rolling out there. But, man, just Jaguars need to gear up some pressure. They need to control the time of possession, and they need to gain a lead early.
Yeah, definitely. And this is why I brought him on. This is UCF Jaguar. Please check the description. I have a link to his YouTube page there. Follow him on Twitter as well. Before you get out of here, what is your game score prediction?
Game score prediction. I think the Bengals are going to win. I think the Bengals are going to win. I think Joe Burrow is just going to annihilate this defense. I think the Bengals are going to win 35-31.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for appearing, man. Appreciate it. Please let people know where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, man, they can find me on Instagram and Twitter at UCF_Jaguar. Also on YouTube, UCF Jaguar. I've got the biggest Jaguar channel out there. And you'll see me and Ace's preview video up tomorrow on my channel, probably around noon. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun showdown, man. I know both our teams are down right now, but we're less than a quarter of the way through the season right now. So there's still a lot of football to be played. And good luck to you guys on Sunday.
Appreciate it. And that was UCF Jaguar. He also does a live stream as well. So please be sure to jump in the comments and definitely share your thoughts with him for sure. Hopefully it'll be a good game for both teams. Hopefully the Bengals can get a win. We'll see. I'm not as optimistic, but he did mention that the Jags do not have the best pass rush, which will bode well for guys like Bobby Hart and Zach Taylor. So let's hope that we can get out here with a win. Thank you guys for listening. This has been New Stripe City. And as usual, I'll leave you guys with a who day all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.